Last time on 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Excuse me, Junpei. I have to give you another titty twister. I mean, he is reaching for the pocket again. Just trust me. Oh god, why does it sound like a dial when he twists Junpei's nipples? That's screwed up. Hello, citizens of the internet, and welcome back to 999. Our last installment was comparatively chill to previous episodes, mostly puzzle solving, but not much in the way of murder and intrigue. But we're entering the home stretch of the Nonary game, and I know better than to expect that piece to last. So let's jump right in and see what horrors await us today.
It's far too narrow to be called one.
They found themselves in a small space outside of the wheelhouse. On their left was a wooden door.
This seems to be the only route.
Yeah, let's go.
Junpei pushed it open and stepped into the room beyond.
Wow.
It was full of all manner of turn-of-the-century electronic equipment.
Well, these machines are weird. I've never seen any of them before. Huh?
Must be the ship's comms room.
Wait, this one is...
Ah, yeah, this is a famous enough device to be known even in Junpei's time. One smaller machine had a metal bar that ended in a circular handle. Ace seemed to recognize it.
Ah, yes. A telegraph key. These were used to transmit Morse code a long time ago.
Back in your day, Ace? No, I'm kidding, you're not that ancient. He turned and slowly took in the room.
This must be the communication office.
Seems like a safe bet. Across the room from the door they'd entered through was another door.
And that door?
A metal plaque was nailed to it. It read,
Captain's quarters. Huh.
Oh, okay. Somehow I'd kind of imagined that the area we'd already passed through that was off the wheelhouse was the captain's quarters, but actually there wasn't really any, living amenities there. That was really just more of an office.
That's what it says.
Then, do you think...
No, I don't think we're receiving a formal invitation to dine with the captain tonight. Ace swallowed. Junpei could feel his hands begin to sweat. Why is Junpei holding Ace's hands? I'm kidding, but... Only Clover seemed unaffected.
Well, we won't know if we don't open it.
She walked up to the door, put her hand on the knob. It opened easily, without so much as a pause, and she walked in. 4'9" and the biggest balls of anybody in our group. Good on Clover. Junpei and Ace followed. The first thing that they saw... Well, I mean, we know it's not going to be anything good. Was a man on the floor, covered in blood. The, third one, in fact. Although, he's a little more intact than usual. And there's a little bit less of a sting in it. At least we've never actually had to interact with this guy. Junpei felt his body seize up. His mouth went dry, and he felt very, very cold. Although, if you take his temperature versus that guy's, I think I know who's going to come out on top. The blood in his veins slowed to a crawl, and his heart tightened like a fist.
Not again.
This was the third time he'd seen the horror of death laid out before him. He didn't think it was something he could stand to see much more of. Still, he had begun to accept that whatever it was that he saw, whatever happened to him, was beyond his control, and whatever force controlled him was driven by a determination that he could not hope to match. Oops. I don't know about that, though, Junpei. If you really want to get into it, I'm the force controlling you, and my resolve's really not that steady. I think you can see that in the frequency I actually upload the videos for this series. A sense of helplessness, of desperation washed over him. It left behind a feeling of utter emptiness that wormed its way through his body like acid. And as a college student, Junpei knew a great deal about the effects of acid.
No, wait. We didn't check his pulse yet. Maybe he's still alive.
Fueled by that spark of hope, Junpei ran to the man's body, and his heart fell. Oh yeah, that dude looks alive. That is definitely a guy living his best life. Still, it's good we're actually checking. It's amazing how many stories don't actually examine that, and then the dude gets up and starts killing people later. When he touched his hand to his neck,
No pulse.
his pupils had dilated, and he wasn't breathing. Dilated, man, his pupils are gone.
Well, he's dead. Damn. If only we knew how it happened.
Junpei lifted the man's already stiff body. There was a deep red wound on his chest.
These wounds. I wonder what killed him.
He was probably poisoned. Junpei did not have to wonder long.
It must have been this.
Ah. You know, when I think of chest wounds, I imagine a more precision instrument than an axe. They just kind of excavated his chest with that thing. For lying next to the corpse was an axe. The entire blade of it was drenched in bright red blood. From the shape of the man's wound, there could be no doubt that it had been made by the axe. Junpei looked at the body again. A lake of blood stretched out around it. It was wearing the clothes of the ship's captain, although they were stained with blood.
These clothes. A captain. Does that mean this guy was Zero?
No, I'd believe this was a homeless dude Zero slipped $20 to cosplay as a captain more before I thought it was Zero himself. On his left hand was a bracelet. The number on that bracelet was 0. I keep hitting the adventure key today.
Bracelet 0.
See, now that's just makes it even more over the top convenient. There's no way this is 0. It was only then that Junpei noticed the stench of blood that filled the room. He couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Junpei might have thought it a joke.
Junpei.
It may be wise to find a way out of here first.
Yeah, I have to agree. The way the captain here is eyeing me's got me feeling a little uneasy, and I don't really want to stick around, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Alright, so it looks like we're starting with the captain's room first. I don't know who that guy is, but I'm guessing this has pretty much been Zero's headquarters up until now, especially judging by what looks like the surveillance console over here. And if so, I am going to start by searching his bed, because who knows what kind of kinky shit is hidden under that. Personally, judging by the leather mask and penchant for kidnapping people, I have Zero pegged as a gal with a bit of an S&M kink, so I'm very curious to see those magazines. A bed. There's nothing in it. What about under it? Okay, no dice. But there is still the possibility of finding what will actually be a pretty hard to watch, I'm guessing. roleplay session between Zero and our fake captain on this camcorder. Although realistically, it's probably got more to do with this keypad here. I'm guessing if we play back whatever's recorded on it, it'll reveal the password or something to that effect. A camcorder. It looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? Okay, well, if it's powered on, then we should be able to play anything that's on it. But since it has a little window here on the side. Huh. So I guess my guess was wrong. Oops, meant to examine the keypad itself. No dice. It doesn't matter what I push on here, it's not working. I don't think the power's on. Yeah, that'd be too straightforward, huh? Okay. There's blood on the chair. Do you think this was the dead guys? Yeah, it seems like a safe bet. In fact, it is my expert opinion that the axe is actually a ruse planted by the real Zero to incite us to violence, and that the true murder weapon is in fact the chair itself. I don't think Clover cared much for my joke. And to be fair, it might be considered in bad taste to jest over the dead man's body. But personally, I think that's just good comedic timing. Huh. Music box? Yeah, I guess it is. It's just not really charming without the case for it. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? And playing back the tune doesn't really make it any more enchanting. Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think that those are the pins. It looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're going to have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? It's a lamp, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. The table doesn't have a drawer, so that's everything on the boring side of the room. Now we get to investigate all this. They look like batteries. There's a cable running from them to the monitor. Nope, never anything in the drawer on the left. It's always in the big middle one. See? This eye chart looking thing. What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with 0 and end with 8, F, N, or V respectively. Maybe this has something to do with number bases. That makes sense for 0 through F. That's a throwback to that little lesson we got from Lotus on hexadecimal. Since the pattern continues onward, that probably indicates that they want us to keep counting by letters even past 16 or... Yeah, F should be 16. Or no, 10 is 16, so F is 15. But the simpler way to think of it is just that since everything starts counting after 9, we take whatever letter we're dealing with, its position in the alphabet, like A is 1 or Z is 26, and we add 9 to it. Or at least I assume that's what they're going for. It probably wouldn't hurt to actually check the file on it here. A numerical chart found in the captain's quarters. 10 in base 10 is written as A in hexadecimal. Therefore, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, and so on. This chart shows the rules for each numeral system. Okay, so yeah, that's really all we have to go on, so my inference pretty much has to be correct. But so far, we haven't run into whatever it is we're actually supposed to translate. This screen shows what's going on in a small room somewhere that I don't recognize. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. Yeah, that doesn't look like any keyboard or any other type of interface that I'm familiar with. They probably switch what you see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? No idea. Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, it got a reaction. Not a very interesting program, though. I'm inclined to see what else is on. Security footage.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
King of the Hill. The Ring. And back to the puzzle. Well, I guess it does change the... What the hell is this? This is what we need to translate using that chart we found in the drawer beneath it. So adding 9 to each of these, we get Z is 35, E is 14, R is 27, and O is 4. The only question from there is whether we're going to need to use those numbers themselves or get the digital roots from them and enter those.
Huh.
Either way, though, it's probably a safe bet that they're the password for that door on the opposite side of the room. Junpei snorted with grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh? It's like he's making fun of us. What do you think?
I think the OST just got a lot more serious. He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded.
Nothing.
It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured toward the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really Zero?
Clover's been pretty skeptical of everything, so I kinda doubt it. Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
Yeah, right.
I know it's important to figure out who this guy is, but don't you think we should figure out how to get out of here first?
Hey, like I said, I really don't like the way he's been eyeing me, so yeah, I'm all for it.
But...
Please, I don't want to waste any more time.
Clover looked miserable, as if she could start crying at any moment. Junpei didn't have the heart to tell her no.
All right, sure thing.
Was his mind playing tricks on him? Junpei wondered. For a moment, he could have sworn he'd seen Clover smile. Okay, no, that's a red flag right there. I mean, getting out of here'd make me smile too. But the subtext of that line can't be anything good. Alright, I do believe that clears everything in this room out, so let's head back over to the comms room. A screwdriver set. And possibly something in these drawers. Some ink. A set of small screwdrivers. Perhaps we can use them to dismantle small devices. Let's do just that. It looks to be a cylinder for a music box. There are a number of pins and some pieces of metal that look rather like fans attached to it. It kind of reminds me of the Amala drums from Nocturne. Actually, I'd like to play some SMT, some Shin Megami Tensei games on this channel at some point. I just want to get a little more accustomed to covering RPG-style games first, because those sound like a real handful. Actually, I meant to look at the desk itself. It's blank. There's nothing written on it. Okay. Can we get this drawer open? It looks as though this drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole, though. An electric lock, perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. That must mean... It means there's some way of sending a signal of some sort to the door. Or to the drawer. Probably has to do with some of the machinery here on the desk. Hey Ace, look. It's a monkey with glasses. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Actually, I thought it kind of looked like a robot face myself. You know, eyes and nose here, and then like an open mouth with little teeth all through there. Even has a set of headphones he wears. Hey Ace, look. It's a model of a steam engine, or a steam train. And much the same reaction. I guess it kind of looks like a train car, just with smokestacks on it instead of the engine for some reason. Just a normal light. Well, it won't turn on, so maybe not that normal. And then the telegraph. It's a telegraph key, a machine for transmitting Morse code. I tried sending an SOS earlier, but I doubt that did anything. Zero would never make it that easy. So you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure if it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. A telecom system sounds easier than doing messages in Morse code, Zero. Alright, but in order to figure out what we need to enter into the telegraph, we're going to have to find a little hidden message on this cylinder. So first we'll submerge it in the ink. And then we'll roll all those strange divots across this paper, giving us a nice little Morse code chart. Just as you suspected, right? Now you have a pattern of dots and lines on the paper. I imagine it's Morse code. These dots and lines are the dots and dashes of Morse code. Alright, so let's see what happens if we hammer out that code on the telegraph over there. A light. It looks like a pretty flower. A very fine flower indeed, Ace. Excellent observation. It's nice to finally converse with a man who can appreciate a quality lamp. Clover could learn something from you. When I examined the one in the other room, she was completely taciturn. Alright, I've got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give this a shot. that's the last one, and yes. Excellent work, Junpei. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. Alright, let's see what Zero left for us. A red book of some sort. A red file lay in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE. But isn't it supposed to say all ice? This doesn't have a space between the L and the I. Are they saying that ALLICE is a single word?
Maybe somebody didn't know how to fill out the name Alice on their daughter's birth certificate? It was an interesting thought, but it left Junpei's mind quickly as he opened the file. What lay inside was far more interesting and far more confusing. Yeah? Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He's never seen hieroglyphs? He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him. Not that they're terribly common, but they're pretty famous. I don't know what good compiling a bunch of them in a book would do anybody.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
Not much. Hieroglyphs are from before written language had really evolved, so it's less a dead language and more of an extinct species of language. A system with hundreds of characters, many of which are purely symbolic and not part of a conventional phonetic alphabet, has been impractical for so long that it'd be a miracle if anybody could translate this. Although tricking Junpei into thinking he could has been the closest thing to a joke that Ace has actually managed to pull off, so kudos there.
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. It's a really strange book. It's not like it's studying the hieroglyphics or some sort of academic book or an or something like that. It's just nothing but transcribed hieroglyphics. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
Whatever it is has to be useful in the rest of the book. He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
It says Bottom Deck Library on it. There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols for the Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well.
Something's written on the bottom. Bottom Deck Library. This must be the key to the library, then. Is the bottom deck a library?
Probably not the whole bottom deck.
Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now.
That's a shame. One of the first areas that's going to flood is a thing full of books. Those aren't going to take very well to that. He gripped the keycard tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. New material has been added to the file screen. Really? A file found in the communications office. It says Alice on the spine. All of the pages are filled with hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt. Okay, so it's just a summary of what we found. I thought it was letting me look at the hieroglyphics themselves for some reason. Unique key. A key with a leather case. It isn't metal. My guess would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a keyhole that might fit it? As a matter of fact, there was something in the captain's quarters. Junpei, where are you going? The only other room? We've searched the wheelhouse from top to bottom. There's no reason to go back. In fact, don't you think it would be wise to investigate the captain's quarters? Oh, okay, that's what I thought I was doing. Whoops, wrong door. Okay, so this should activate the keypad. The control panel for the electronic lock. It looks like it's got a keyhole on the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. Sweet. Just had to put that key in and now it's on. And looking at the number of digits in the passcode, it looks like we won't have to calculate the digital roots for any of those numbers, and we'll just be using the original 8 digits. But if this room, or if this door is the exit to the room, we've actually managed to clear this puzzle without ever needing to use that camera. That's kind of odd for such a conspicuous item. Junpei, look, there's a minus sign on the screen. There are 8 of them. That probably means we've got to put in 8 digits. Do you think you can figure it out? I already did. Oops. 8 digits, huh? Once I've put in the 8-digit number, I just press the E to... I know how to use a keypad. Alright, so 35142724. Yes, it worked. Good job, Junpei. Oh, did you literally jump for joy? That's out of character, to be honest. You're really happy to get out of here. And given that smile from earlier, I'm not sure that's a good thing. Excellent. You seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit, before turning left like a great backward L.
All right, let's go.
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the stairway, the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
That's the next door.
He made straight for it.
Wait, a piece of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. They misspelled his name there. It says Junpei. Skidded to a halt.
This is...
He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off of the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for A-Deck.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
He showed Ace what he had snatched from the wall. The wall? I thought it was on the floor. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was, and nodded.
I see.
With that, he began running again, past Junpei.
Well, that was anticlimactic. I should keep this, though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
Damn it, what the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob.
Clover!
Huh?
As Junpei watched, she closed it, gently and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had, unconsciously, put her hands over the pocket of her jacket, as if trying to hide something.
What the hell is that?
Oh, that's why it looked like you were just coming out of the captain's quarters. You lingered behind after we opened it up so you could pick up that axe. And as for what's in your pocket, the captain's number 0 bracelet could turn out to be pretty handy if it were real.
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
That's, just my mysterious bulge. No need to pry any further. Anyway, I gotta hurry.
Oh, this? This is... I wonder.
Oh, fuck.
What the hell?
Come on, we gotta hurry.
With that, Clover ran straight past a somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back.
Huh? Clover, what's that on your back?
It's my ass, stupid. Now stop staring at it and hurry up. Sticking up from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick.
A stick?
Yep, there it is. Clover has the axe. Clover has the axe, and she's gone axe crazy, and she's gonna axe murder all of our axes to avenge Snake. Well, fuck. If that's what we're looking at, I should do some quick math to at least see who her priority targets are. So, this chart should represent all the possible ways to open door 3 that include using Snake's bracelet. I didn't include the number 0 bracelet because I think it's probably safe to assume that no one had access to it until now, considering we just found it. But I did go ahead and include the 9th man's bracelet just to cover all of our probable bases. Right off the bat, any team of 5 people involves too many co-conspirators to be plausible. Honestly, it probably wasn't even worth finding all the 5-person combinations, especially when you consider that out of all of them, only 2 don't involve our player character Junpei or Clover, the victim's sister. It's actually most likely a team of 2 people that killed Snake. Out of these, the only likely pair is Santa and Seven. There are only 2 other teams, one of which implicates Clover, and another that involves Ace acting alone, but using the number 9 bracelet. Of course, that assumes that Ace picked it up when he went into the first-class cabin, something he had the opportunity to do, but then that further assumes that the bracelet even is able to authenticate on the Reds if it isn't attached to a host player. So, while that would only require 1 person and Ace could get away with it with no co-conspirators, it's still not something we know whether or not it's technically possible. So, I think we're dealing with 2 probable outcomes based on what we've seen here. Either she'll go after Santa and Seven, the most likely team of co-conspirators, or she'll decide that she can't trust any of us and just go on a murder spree and take everyone out to be sure. Of course, if that were the tactic she wanted to pursue, she has me and the oldest member of our crew alone right now, so it'd be a good time to start killing. That being the case, I have a bad feeling about Santa and Seven.
Hey, Clover! What the hell's that thing on your back?
I already told you it was her ass. She didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared.
Is she ignoring me?
Sure, seems like it.
For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later, and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
The big stairs. So this is where it ends up, just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
And not just Ace. Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell simply by looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
They found themselves, Junpei. Come on, the only thing that could generate this kind of excitement has to be the number 9 door. Which is good news. Maybe we can get out of here before Clover has a chance to snap.
We found it!
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us! We'll explain on the way!
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
Finally in the end game. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. We definitely haven't done it yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
We've reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape wasn't exciting.
But something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door.
Ow, fuck, man, I was so distracted thinking about Clover that I forgot we can't all open door 9. Unless we can enter it in 2 separate groups and go through twice or something. But that would mean we would have to leave at least a group of 3 people behind to be able to authenticate, and good luck convincing anybody to sign up for that suicide mission. Fuck. And who knows what Clover will do if she thinks she's going to miss her chance to get revenge on the killer because they're going to escape. So things are definitely going to get hairy here in a few minutes.
7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while, until... They had just reached C deck when Clover spoke.
Hey, what about door 2?
Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover. What about door 2? 7 spoke.
What about door 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Door 2 is the only one we haven't gone through it, I mean.
Yes, that is true.
Are you guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean?
I think I am. I mean, nothing really important has come of investigating any of the numbered doors, except that we've gathered the keycards necessary to unlock more of them, and so on, until we find the number 9 door. It doesn't really seem like there's much chance that any secret win condition to this game involves going through all of the doors, so it seems like... And on top of that, it's just dangerous to use what little time we have left to double back like that. When we went through the last set of doors, we had 3 hours, and now we're down to an hour and a half, just half of that. And that was the amount of time necessary to go through one set of puzzle rooms. If this door takes as long as those did, then we might be shit out of luck.
So what? We found door 9. We don't need any of the other doors.
What's the point? Huh? What's the point in going to door 9? We can't all go through it, right?
Hmm.
Then we should do what we have to do before we go any further.
What we have to do, huh? But that means different things to each of us, doesn't it, Clover? And in your case, I think what we have to do refers to taking revenge for Snake. You're just afraid we're going to end the Nonary game before you have a chance to do so, so you're trying to split us up again.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the border pieces first.
Well, that's a fine metaphor and all, Clover, but I like to think of the Nonary game as being a bit more like a maze. Now, I know the conventional wisdom for mazes is that to solve them, what you have to do is place your hand up against the right wall, and keep it there as you walk forward until you find your way out. But I'll let you in on a little secret. The real trick to getting out of a maze is to ignore the borders, slam through them in one direction until you find your way out. I don't care about solving the puzzle, I just want to live.
You know? Or what? You think all 7 of us should go to door 9? And then we argue over who stays behind and who gets to go?
That does sound actually terrible, but at least we'll have enough time to reach some kind of consensus with an hour and a half to discuss our options. I really don't like putting actual survival on the back burner like this.
Do we really want to do that again? Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we can find a way to get all of us out. Huh. I don't know what might be in there. We may not find anything.
Probably.
But don't you think it'd be better to at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong? Does that sound wrong to you guys?
But they're not talking back. I think she's convincing them.
Yeah, you do have a point.
The others nodded in agreement.
The last time I checked the clock, it was 4:30. It's not like we've got a lot of time, but if we're quick about it, we might have time to take a look.
Damn it, Junpei, you just saw the shenanigans she was pulling in the captain's quarters. You're the one person who should be speaking out against this.
You're right. Let's go take a look at door 2.
They were back in front of the elevator. Nearby was the large hospital room.
The elevator can take us down to door 2.
Who shall go then?
Let's see.
Me. I'm going.
Then June, 7, and I need to go with her.
Okay, well that pretty much confirms any suspicions about Clover. Not only is she volunteering, putting her at an advantage by numbers against whoever she ends up trapped in there with, but they even went ahead and threw Santa and Seven in for the deal, and they're the two people most under suspicion of being Snake's killers, so there's no way shit won't go down between that group. Oh, but does June really have to go along for it? She's not involved in any of this. I don't want her to be in trouble. 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. 2 plus 0 equals 2.
Hey, why do you get to...
I don't mind. We'd only waste time arguing over it.
Jumpy, I'm okay too.
No, honey, you're not. Listen, if you absolutely have to go through this door with them, promise me that the first thing you will do is find a door to hide yourself behind, alone, and block it immediately with whatever you can find, because, you know, there's a chance if she doesn't manage to catch Seven by surprise, that somebody of his size might be able to overtake her in spite of the handicap of her having an axe. But for you, it's pertinent that you hide.
See?
Can we just go now?
Fine.
All right, let's get going.
Okay,
I'll see you later.
Okay. Be careful.
I hope you will. They climbed into the elevator, and Junpei listened to it creak and rattle its way to the bottom deck. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. As the elevator rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke.
Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me?
Go with you? Well, I didn't think people still talked that way outside of the 1950s. Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you?
Oh, okay. I, didn't really expect to be third-wheeled while we waited.
That wasn't what I meant to... I was hoping you would come with me.
Why does everybody suddenly want to explore every nook and cranny of this sinking ship? Weren't we all just discussing escaping? And Ace, after Santa and Seven, you're the person most under suspicion of being Snake's killer, because you wouldn't have to involve any other people to do it, assuming that the bracelets work without a host. So it's really sus that you're doing this right now.
Seriously, though, I was kidding.
In fact, if it was Ace, Lotus, and the number 9 bracelet, the digital root of that would be 9, wouldn't it? Because 1 plus 8 plus 9 is 18, and 1 plus 8, is 9. So if he did pick up the number 9 bracelet like that theory suggests, he might be trying to go ahead of all of us by getting a hold of Lotus's bracelet. Huh. Oh, fuck, and if he is the killer, that means Clover's about to go on a killing spree for no reason. I wouldn't go with him, Lotus.
So, where was it you wanted to take me?
There's something I wanted to show you.
If we're lucky, it's just his penis.
Hey man, what the hell? I'm not important enough?
Well, I'm not really dying to see it, Junpei, but okay.
Well, it's not like that. Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you.
Really?
Of course.
Ace's smile was friendly.
Fine. Do whatever you want.
Thanks, Junpei. Are you coming, Lotus?
Fine. Doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. I might as well go and see whatever it is you think is so important.
Thank you. Well then, shall we go?
Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. They disappeared into the hallway on the left. Time seemed to drag as Junpei waited for the others to return.
They're so slow.
Yeah, I wonder what could be taking them so long that they aren't back in the entire span of time it takes the other group to solve that puzzle room. Oh boy.
What's keeping Ace and Lotus?
Suddenly the elevator opened. Fuck. A single person stood there.
Clover! I guess you're the first one back.
Oh, Junpei, you moron. Well, we know who's gonna die next. Which probably means the death order looks something like... 7, June, Santa, Lotus, and Junpei. So if my guess is right, this is all going to come down to a showdown between you and Ace then. It was only Clover inside. He didn't see the rest. She looked at Junpei, then slowly, purposefully, stepped out of the elevator. The door closed behind her.
Where's everybody else? What happened?
She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes swept the room and then settled on Junpei. Boy.
Where are Ace and Lotus?
Somewhere far away where neither will hear me scream.
Hmm? Oh, Ace said he wanted to show Lotus something, so they went into that hallway.
Junpei explained what had happened.
Oh, then they went over there?
They did. I probably should have followed them. Her voice was small and timid.
Yeah, I think so.
He repeated his earlier question.
So where are June, Santa, and Seven? Why aren't they with you?
You really want to know?
There was something wrong with her smile.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Here, let me show you.
Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it onto the floor at Junpei's feet.
Huh?
Oh boy, and that was 3 distinct thuds. He looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings.
Bracelets. Oh my god. Oh, holy shit.
Oh, I guess June wasn't able to hide. I can't believe I let this happen. I can't believe Junpei let this happen. He had the context clues to put together what she was up to. Junpei collapsed.
No. No way. No way. This has got to be some kind of joke. This can't be real.
Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest, and his hands shook uncontrollably. Sweat poured down from his face. The 3 bracelets sat there on the floor before him. He could see the numbers on their faces.
3, 7, 6.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0.
In a really sad sense, both of those conditions are true for June now. It actually kind of reminds me of a rather depressing line from this game's sequel. The Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She isn't anywhere.
In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confine of the ship, or the paraxatic mirror's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
But why?
Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold.
Revenge for my brother. He was forced into door 3 and murdered. You need at least 3 people to open a door. Who were the two that opened that door with him? It could only have been Santa and Seven.
So she has been crunching the numbers. Well, she's been really despondent since we found Snake's body, so that's probably what she's been doing all the time, is trying to solve the case of who actually did it.
That's why I killed them.
2 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3.
But why? Why did you kill June?
Now, she was innocent.
Because she tried to protect them.
That does sound like her. The advice of having her hide while something like that carried on would be entirely out of her character. She's been selflessly concerned for everybody in this game since the very start.
She was in my way. She had to die too.
But what a terrible reason to be killed.
No. No.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what had to be a dream.
No. No.
It couldn't be real. It just couldn't.
Hey, Junpei.
He felt Clover's hand on his shoulder. Ah. Her smile was wrong. Horribly wrong. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes. They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover he had known. Perhaps she was not even human.
Let's go.
She is pretty scary looking right now, although that kind of makes her one of my favorite art assets from this game, I'm not gonna lie. Her hand reached out toward him.
Let's get out of here. Let's leave this ship.
I don't think I want the salvation you're offering.
What the hell are you talking about? To open a numbered door, you...
Yes, I know. You need at least 3 people.
She sounds so calm now.
But as long as we have this...
Once again, Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
It was another bracelet. Junpei could see the number on the face. 0.
the 0 bracelet. You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
So she does think we can use the bracelets even when they're not attached to us. Or if that's the case, then she's probably just as suspicious of Ace as anybody else. So I don't think her killing spree is gonna stop at those 3.
Oh, this? This is...
You know, when I joked about that being your bulge, I didn't have anything sinister in mind.
See? You get it now? If we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave. You and I can open door 9 with just the 2 of us.
4 plus 5 plus 0 equals 9. That just means you need my bracelet.
See? So let's go.
What's behind your back?
Come on! Hurry up!
She shoved out her hand again. Junpei looked up at Clover. She had the face of a demon. But there was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her. She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess filled with love.
Junpei?
Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep. So deep, Junpei could feel himself falling into them. He felt dizzy. There was something oddly bewitching about her. His mind was beginning to crack, and his heart began to melt.
Junpei.
The hand she was offering him. It looked so soft, so inviting.
Clover.
Junpei reached out with his own trembling hand and closed it over hers.
Yeah?
Man, you can really hear the part where it went all caps. Junpei writhed in agony. He shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody, then screamed more. His cries echoed across the room. Eventually, his movements slowed, then faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to go numb. He no longer felt pain. He no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. The last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded to nothingness, he saw Clover.
Thanks, Junpei.
Okay, I lied. That is my favorite art asset in the game. In fact, it's probably going in the thumbnail, because I know for a fact I'm not the first person to spoil that in a thumbnail. And the game is pretty old.
I'm just gonna borrow this.
Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was a twisted, broken corpse. And that's one ending down. Bad end. Do you think so, game? Do you think that might have been an undesired outcome? And we've got an achievement. Let me ask you a question. I guess the developers like that pun as much as I do. You have reached one ending. This game has multiple endings. I fucking hope so after the shit show we just witnessed. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Memory of Escape has been added to the title screen. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms you have completed. Okay, so let's save. And that dumps us to the flowchart. I guess we screwed up so hard in that ending that they didn't even bother sending us to the credits. So I'm gonna have to spend some time with this to see what the next priority should be, because at this point I have the option of going back to an early section of the game and more or less doing a whole new playthrough where I explore all unique doors and fill out a lot more of the unexplored story content, or I can focus more on the late game content and try to expose some of the more intriguing and hidden story elements in the endings, so that I have a bigger perspective on things when I go back to the earlier parts of the game to see what they're about. So, for the time being, what's going to come next is a little bit up in the air. But hey, whatever happens, happens.